Assalamu alaikum. My name is Farahad Ashraf, roll number EP1770037, and today my topic of presentation is endocarditis. And the subtopic today I am discussing is gram-negative bacillary endocarditis caused by Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Before moving to the case study, we should know what is endocarditis and infective endocarditis. Basically, endocarditis is heart-related problem in which there is inflammation of the inner lining of heart chambers and walls, and it is usually caused by bacterial infection, fungal infection, or other germs can cause endocarditis. And the most common symptoms includes fatigue, chest pain, flu-like symptoms which involve fever and chills, night sweats, shortness of breath, swelling in feet, legs, or abdomen, heart murmur. And infective endocarditis. Basically, infective endocarditis is usually caused by infection which is causing infection in heart valves or endocardium. And the main cause of infective endocarditis is basically the overgrowth of bacteria, and this bacteria normally lives inside or outside the surface, and it enters into the bloodstream, which then damages the heart and heart walls. And these bacteria may originate from mouth, from skin, intestines, respiratory system, urinary tract, etc. And if it is left and yeah, untreated, it can cause a stroke, it can cause damages to other organs, heart failure, and it may be fatal as well. Now, in this slide, I am discussing that how we will diagnose that the patient is suffering from infective endocarditis. Firstly, the doctor will suspect endocarditis, and then he will perform some blood tests for bacteria. The in these tests, so number one is complete blood count, which is used to check for anemia. As in the case of endocarditis, there is shortness of red blood cells, and their doctor may also order an echocardiogram for which uses sound waves to produce an image of the heart, electrocardiogram which used to find an irregular heartbeat which is caused by endocarditis, and other tests include chest x-ray, MRI, and CT scan. Now, the case study. I'll be discussing this case study as soap note. So, my subject is that he is readmitted to the hospital, and with a 48-hour history of fever, shaking, chills, rigor, and night sweats. And he has just completed a 14-month course of antifungal therapy. Now, the object of my patient is that his vital signs was noted at that time, and it was found that its blood pressure was 100 per 60 mmHg, pulse 120 beats per minute, respiration 24 per minute, and temperature was noted 103.7 degree, and a systolic murmur was also noted. Basically, systolic murmur begins during or after the first heart sound, and it ends before or during second heart sound. And the two-dimensional echocardiography revealed two small vegetations on the prosthetic wall. Basically, this vegetation is the formation of infected platelet beta fibrin thrombus, and which and these small vegetations are found on the prosthetic wall of the patient. And the empiric therapy the empiric ther- now, the empiric therapy was initiated, and it consists of amphotericin B, 5-fluocytosine, vancomycin, and gentamicin. And after the blood cultures drawn on the day of admission, it was found that the patient is positive for Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and antibiotic and following antibiotic susceptibilities: gentamicin 8 microgram per ml, tobramycin 2 microgram per ml, piperacillin 64 microgram per ml, and ceftazidime 2 microgram per ml. Now, before moving to the case study, we should know that what is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So basically, it is a gram-negative bacterium, and which rarely cause infective endocarditis, but those patients are more susceptible to have Pseudomonas aeruginosa endocarditis who are immunosuppressed or or with cardiac implantable devices or prosthetic valves. And for the treatment of Pseudomonas aeruginosa is difficult as due to following reasons. Number one, it forms biofilms. Number two, it shows antibiotic resistance during the treatment because of the species genetic polymorphism and expression and increased expression of cephalosporinases, reduced porin expression, etc. Therefore, in this case, combination antibiotic therapy is recommended. Now, as we know that the empiric therapy was started. बेसिकली एम्पिरिक थेरेपी हम जब देते हैं जब हमारे पास पेशेंट आता है उसमें सिम्टम्स मौजूद होते हैं लेकिन हम वेट कर रहे होते हैं ब्लड टेस्ट की रिपोर्ट्स का तो उससे पहले हम लोग जो है एम्पिरिक थेरेपी स्टार्ट करते हैं सो इन दिस केस जो रेजिमेंट दिया जा रहा है द रेजिमेंट विच इज़ गिवन इज एम्फोटेरिसिन बी 5-flucytosine, vancomycin, and gentamicin. Amphotericin B and flucytosine both are antifungal medication, and flucytosine is used with amphotericin B for treating serious infections, whereas vancomycin and gentamicin are used to treat serious bacterial infections, and both of and both of them are used to treat serious bacterial infections. Now, Now, after the antimicrobial therapy, now as we know that as the culture says, the culture is positive for Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So now we will start with antimicrobial therapy, and the empiric therapy will be discontinued. And for the proper antibiotic selection, it is based on antimicrobial susceptibility and synergy testing. So the patient will be started with ceftazidime, a dose 2 gram IV Q8 hourly with high dose of tobramycin 3 mg per kg IV Q8 hourly. This ceftazidime is used to treat it is used to treat bacterial infections, and it is a third generation cephalosporin, whereas tobramycin is also used to treat bacterial infection, and it is very effective as it is particularly used for gram negative species and especially against pseudomonas species, and the dose and the duration of therapy is recommended is for 4 to 6 weeks. Now, in combination therapy, we will start with a combination of aminoglycoside and pseudomonal penicillin, or if the patient is sensitive to penicillin, then we will give cephalosporin, and this duration of therapy is for 6 weeks. Now, in combination therapy, there are some points like, for example, tobramycin is selected over gentamicin, as both of these are aminoglycoside antibiotics, but pseudomonas are more susceptible to tobramycin than gentamicin. Whereas in combination therapy, high doses of tobramycin and gentamicin significantly have higher cure rate and lower mortality rate as compared to the old regimen that was in the dose 2.5 to 5 mg per kg per day. And now the recommended dose is 8 mg per kg per day. Whereas in ceftazidime, Ceftazidime should be preferred over piperacillin because of its greater in vitro activity and good penetration into cardiac valvular tissues. Now, the conclusion. Now we will conclude our case study as those patients which are suffering from infective endocarditis. Uh, it should be treated quickly as it can cause irreversible damage to the heart and it can become life threatening. When the patient is in hospital, it will be given in antibiotics intravenously, and once the patients go home, uh, um, and he will continue to have oral antibiotics for at least 4 weeks, and with regular blood tests will check that the infection is going away or not. Surgery may also be needed if heart valves have been damaged, and the valve can also be replaced using a new valve made from either animal tissue or artificial materials. And if this condition is left untreated, it could be fatal, and but the mostly the recovery can be seen by antibiotic treatment, and the chance of recovery depends on factors including age and the cause of infection. Thank you.